Just doing a little post-workout video. I just wanted to note how difficult it was to do some gentle yoga, and how my body was in such an anxious state, trying to slow down and trying to relax. I can just sense whether it's trauma, tension, some other words that I can't recollect or think of, but just all of the maybe thousands, tens of thousands of times, maybe more, where the body's been in a difficult place, overstimulated, and have not been able to express that in life, in trying to stay so-called, normal. I just felt that as I was doing some, laying flat on my back, just stretching my legs. I followed this gentle morning video. And it just, as I was doing it, I could just almost feel all of the years or decades of masking. And I wonder if that's it. Maybe there's multiple reasons. And it records something that I can't remember if I shared on this channel, but where I was told quite recently to not close my eyes when I talk. And in that time it was happening, I was completely overwhelmed, and closing my eyes was something to help with the overwhelm, because it was I was so dysregulated, so anxious, and some things have happened at that time which made me that way, and my eyes were closed, and when that was said, it was just really hard to hear, because the person didn't know, they couldn't feel how overwhelmed I was. And it's a natural human sort of response to stress and overwhelm, to sort of soothe and comfort, even in a non-autistic way, to rub our face, or maybe a big sigh, may stand up, may pace. And so with autistic overwhelm, it's so intense at the time, you're just kind of really hanging on to stay in a conversation, or stay present, or not to curl up in a ball and lock yourself in in a dark room to feel protected or safe. But like closing my eyes was one way to minimize or lessen the stimulation. This might be a bad example, but it's almost like you're in pain, but you're not allowed to sort of vocalize the pain. You're not allowed to kind of, how other people vocalize pain, you're not allowed to show it on your face. It's almost like that. It felt, to say you can't close your eyes in that time, in that moment. Bringing back to the reason I'm recording quickly now, just made me aware of really from now on, like listening to my needs so much more in regards to sensory overwhelm, which is a lot easier said than done, because it's very hard to be open with people and to express and to stim. Even on my own, I find stimming really self-conscious and difficult. There was a moment a couple of days ago related to the dating stuff that I talked about, where literally I was so overwhelmed, I had the urge almost to hit my head against something, or to hit myself on my head. And I understood, I think there's been videos in psychiatric wards and documentaries I've watched, people have sort of hit their head against walls and things, and it just felt like I could really understand why, because it's just so overwhelmed, there's no way to express it or to kind of deal with it. And just going back to listening to needs. Couldn't quite connect why I just mentioned that about listening to needs. Just the importance of that really from now on, and in some ways trying to be yourself in one respect. And maybe like relaxing into yourself, which may sound strange, but it makes sense to say, where you're not sort of holding up an image of trying to be a certain way. That's not as easy said than done. There's always maybe some blending involved in how you want to be seen and being yourself, but maybe at least being a bit more in touch with myself and expressing, and it sounds, sometimes it doesn't sound possible. It sounds like I'm just so used to masking, and then it would be such a shock if I was to suddenly stim or do something. People in my life who don't know that aspect of what I'm going through may just so it's like, it's definitely a journey, but I just wanted to zero in on just really listening to my needs, most importantly, especially in my own company, of when I'm overwhelmed. And because so many, even on a small level, can be just so used to not listening to that, so used to needing to be a certain way, needing to be productive and do certain things. And I was just noticing that. So that's something I'm going to try and do going forward, and putting aside any perfectionism or expectations. Just if it's, I think there was a counsellor when I used to be on X and check in with like mental health people, but I'm no longer. It's too much to be on there. But there was a psychiatrist or counsellor who said just do 0.1% improvement on something, or 1% towards it, and I feel, just make any kind of progress towards that. So in regards to listening to myself and needs, it's just even beginning with just the awareness of that, I think would help. And making it more of an invitation versus a task to be achieved, or success or failure. Just really sinking into that as, actually feels good to know how I'm feeling, and then responding to it, versus down the line in a big reaction that you kind of slowly realise that, oh God, this is why I've been overwhelmed for the last couple of hours. Or I just wanted to touch upon that really. And I think I'm just going with the flow with recording this and putting it out. I'm trying not to maybe think too much. So I'm always, as a kind of creator in terms of mostly my field writing, but there's always an element in, I guess, in artistry and creating, that you want to cultivate certain things to be seen in a certain way. And for example, this video, I'm thinking, how does this fit in with, like, what do I want my channel to look like or be? And so much overthinking. So maybe I just can just simplify it, and felt like, this is good to mention just for myself, and wonder if it helps anyone else, but just to go with the flow.